lucky students, $20,000 each over 2 years. And after reviewing 1,700 Savage scholarship applications of what it means to be an American, we have 5 winners. We do have the 5 lucky winners. We're going to announce them, I believe, on July 2nd. So I want you to tell your friends to be tuning in, because you may be one of those people who won the sweepstakes. You may say it's not a lot of money. Well, to these people, it is a lot of money. And I realize that it's important to them, which is why I donated that $100,000 to this cause. So let's go back to the issues here. We've got her. We've got Trump. We've got the Pope meddling in science. 855-400-7282. Let's get some of the callers up there. WABC, Andrew, line 3. Go ahead, please. Your opinion of Donald Trump. Andrew, go, please. Are you there? Bingo. Line 2, Anthony, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Dr. Savage. Oh, what a thrill it is to hear those clips you play of Donald Trump. This is the greatest speech.
All right, goodbye. Thank you. You're a regular. I don't like you. You change your name every day. I don't go for it. You know, there's he's a squatter. That guy's a radio squatter. Do you ever get a radio squatter? They change their name. They want to get on the radio every day. The same story. Every day. Every day, every day, every day. If he launches a third party, I'll know, by the way. If he launches a third party, I'm sorry, it's a Perot job. It's to undermine the Republicans and get Hillary in. Period. End of story. That's it. No more lunches at Mar-a-Lago. I'll have to go to Burger King. Actually, I don't think I'd resign because the food is too good there. And if I go there once a year, I like to see the 90-year-old men who look like 110. I mean, where else can you go to a place where the men who are 90 look like they're the age of Moses near his death because of the many surgeries they had on their face? They look like moon men. Their wives don't even look. I mean, their wives are like 80. They think they look 50, but they look 200. Where else can you have a meal like that? You can't see that at the Burger King. They can't afford that kind of surgery. WJR, Carol, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Oh, hi, Dr. Savage. Hi, this is Carol calling from Willowbrook, Ohio, and listening to WJR out of Detroit. I just wanted to say that the best thing that Donald Trump has going for him is he's not part of the political establishment, because the political establishment is the problem that we're facing today. It's just seen it in the last election when we voted in our representatives to stop the policies of this administration, and they were put at the back of the bus as far as their influence was concerned.
All right, so in plain English, would you vote for him?
I definitely would now that he's running. I have seen other ones, but when I look at the whole roster of everyone who's running, he's got the best things going because he's going to run this government as a business.
Right, but let's have the caveat on my show today to be fair to my audience. If he runs as an independent, it's the end of the Republican candidacy. He'll suck 15 or 20% of the vote. It guarantees that Hillary Clinton wins, which would be a disaster for the world. Stay in the line, dear. I'm giving you countdown to Mecca for Father's Day. Even though you're not a father, I'm sure there's a father in your family. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUY-COIN. Hey, Savage.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Yeah! Mark my words. Yeah!
Whoa, from his mouth to God's ear. So, Donald Trump, would you vote for Donald Trump? Then we have the race scandal of this con woman saying she identifies as black, therefore she is black. And there is no such thing as race. This is I tell you how many times do I have to say this? Liberalism is a mental disorder. So you have certain chromosomes that define you as a man, but you're a woman in your head, so you're a woman. Let's see. You're born Caucasian, but you think that you're black. You feel that you're black. So it's true. How many times have I told you liberalism is a mental disorder? If it feels like something, that's what it is. Don't you see what this has led to? How about that faker who said she was a Native American, Elizabeth Warren, when she isn't? Look how far she got with her fakery. Racial identity, huh? Using race for personal advantage is a disgrace.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
We owe China $1.3 trillion. We owe Japan more than that. So they come in, they take our jobs, they take our money, and then they loan us back the money, and we pay them in interest. And then the dollar goes up, so their deal's even better. How stupid are our leaders? How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
Donald Trump, would you vote for him? Yes or no? Now, the real test here as to whether he's really serious, and I hope to God he is A, does he run as a Republican, and B, who does he choose as his running mate? And if he chooses Ben Carson as his running mate, which would be fantastic politically and for the nation, wow, would that be some ticket, huh? How would the left attack him then? What, Ben Carson isn't black enough because he identifies as an American? I guess they could say Ben Carson isn't an African American because he's too conservative. Maybe they could strip him of his race. I mean, that's the way that would work. And by the way, with this whole issue of if you feel like something, you are that. If this clown Caitlyn Jenner feels like a woman, he is a woman. Are you crazy? Let me ask you something. Let's say you're 45 years old and you don't want to work anymore and you want to collect Social Security. Well, what if you go to the Social Security agency and you say, how dare you treat me as though I'm 45? I'm tired. I feel like I'm 65. I've chosen to feel 65. I want Medicare, and I want to start collecting my Social Security. Would that be valid? Isn't that what we should be doing? Because of Rachel, whatever her name was, and Caitlyn? If it feels like with this, with that? You mean if I feel like I'm a fighter pilot, I'm suddenly a fighter pilot? Well, that's what Obama's done to the military. He's taken women who can't fly a Piper Cub and put them in charge of entire air divisions. He's taken women who can't pilot a motorboat and put them in charge of the U.S. Navy. Because liberalism is a mental disorder. That's it, in plain English. We're living in a distorted, crazed world. The world is falling apart because of liberalism. I pray Donald is real. I pray Donald is running. And what's interesting to me is that on the same day we're talking about someone as real as Donald Trump, we have someone as fake as Rachel Dolezal, who not only was outed for being white and still insists that because she feels black, she is black, and people are taking her seriously. It shows you how far the country has fallen, how rotted out this country has become. It's unbelievable to me. How could black people not get angry over her? It's unbelievable to me. So if I feel as though I'm 65 when I'm 45, can I force Social Security to give me Medicare? You want me to give you a few other examples of insanity? This is insanity. It was started by the transgender community who have forced their way into bathrooms that they're not allowed to be in. And you know it and I know what's going on here. And you know who started this whole game. And I think it's time we stood up to this insanity. By the way, 855-400-7282, phone number. Let's start on KCML Radio in Kansas City. William, welcome to the Savage Nation. What's on your mind?
Hello, Michael. It's an honor to speak with you. My question for you is, what would you recommend Donald Trump doing to all the people who refuse to assimilate?
There's a very simple answer to that. It's not that complicated. If you want to vote, you learn English because the ballots will only be in English. End of story. You want to collect a welfare check? You want a food stamp? You speak in English. No ticky, no laundry. How's that? Does that work for you?
Yes, sir, it does. I work in the restaurant industry, and I got into an argument with my previous employer because I won't learn Spanish to speak to our dishwasher.
Well, that's your decision. Maybe the dishwasher ought to learn rudimentary English to speak to you.
Yeah, well, if they're coming to my country, I don't understand why I should learn their language.
That's right. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. But now liberalism has reversed that. When in Rome, tell the Romans they're morons and do what you do. But make sure you collect the Roman dinar from them. Take their money and then spit on them. I mean, what do you expect? If we're this weak, why wouldn't they spit on you? They go to a boxing match. How many times have I said how outraged I am that I go to boxing matches or watch them and they're waving a Mexican flag? This is America. They're not in Mexico. They're not in Guatemala. They're not in El Salvador. Why are we watching them wave Mexican flags at sporting events in this country? Why is the American flag trashed by the left while foreign flags are revered? Because the communists have won the culture wars, and it's time to fight back. It's time to elect a nationalist businessman like Donald Trump, in my opinion, William.
I completely agree with you.
All right, William, are you a father, or do you have a father in your family?
No, sir. I am 20 years old. Wait a minute,
you're 20, but you sound like you're 65. If you feel like 65, maybe you ought to collect Medicare.
Yeah, and maybe I can qualify for all the scholarships that all the colleges are giving out, and maybe I.
There you go. You know, you're right. Wait a minute. Why don't you apply for a scholarship in engineering and say you feel like Albert Einstein, and therefore you are Albert Einstein? Because if you feel like Albert Einstein, the way this Donazelle feels like she's black, then you must be Albert Einstein, right?
Yeah.
Right, William, I'm sending you Countdown to Mecca. I'm sure that you can read this great novel. 855-407-282. KBOI Radio. Raymond, welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for taking my call. I find it pretty amusing and a little bit disheartening that my fifth grade, my youngest son, that's 11 years old, talking about this Rachel Dvorak person, whoever she is. He asked me last night, watching the news, he said, Dad, why isn't she in trouble? She lied.
And what was your answer to this child?
To my son, my youngest son, I said, well, Nicholas, I hope she is in trouble. Because
so far I haven't heard a word from the FBI. As far as I can tell, she violated some federal statutes by lying about her race to get her job at the NAACP and to bull her way into a teaching position. Isn't that lying? And aren't there consequences for it? If a Caucasian man lied about his race for a scholarship and then was found out, he would probably be stripped of his scholarship for sure, thrown out of school, and possibly charged with some crime of identity theft.
And forced to pay restitution.
Well, it's like, you know what this is? People don't realize how serious this is. This is the equivalent of a fake hate crime. Do you know that this woman has committed the equivalent of a fake hate crime?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Well, this is what liberalism has wrought in this nation. All right, my friend, hang in there. We're not finished yet. America may be hanging like a loose tooth, but we can still save it. Believe me. I'm sending you Countdown to Mecca, my blockbuster novel. It's actually an exciting read. I'm not reading from the book this week, but I have in the past. When I get around to it, I will. We have some great sound bites we haven't gotten to yet. Let's jump back from Trump to this character, this faker. In clip 10, listen to this interchange.
Your parents were asked this question this week, and they didn't have any trouble answering it. Here's what they said. She's clearly our birth daughter, and we're clearly Caucasian. That's just a fact. Your father went on to say she's a very talented woman doing work she believes in. Why can't she do that as a Caucasian woman, which is what she is? How do you answer that question?
Well, first of all, I really don't see why they're in such a rush to whitewash some of the work that I have done and who I am and how I've identified. And this goes back to a very early age with my self-identification with the black experience as a very young child.
She's a sociopath in my estimation, and that's a very dangerous thing to laud and to hold up as a role model. This woman is a con woman, a sociopath. She was exposed, and instead of apologizing and hiding in shame, as a true sociopath, she comes out and she glorifies and doubles down on her big lie. Do you get it? You understand how dangerous this is for this nation? And we have no leadership to explain it. That's why I'm on the radio. I'm one of the few people who can explain it in the way it actually is. This is what I'm talking about. If we let this meltdown continue, you're going to arrest the next Muslim plotting to kill someone somewhere, the next terror attack by another Muslim who hates America. And what will he say? He's a